I use a Samsung flagship as well as an iPhone flagship. Let me tell you why the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro still works for me and why it is still worth buying despite missing one key feature.
Namaste, we're DHRME, dope hearing reviews made by experts. Not an expert. Now, the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro are very good earbuds in so many ways. And of course, they work very well with a Samsung or an Android phone like you'd expect. But before we dive into the land of smooth pairings and 360 audio, we need to address something big, like elephant-sized. These lack multipoint, which means they won't stay connected to multiple devices at the same time, unless they're Samsung devices. We'll tell you why that doesn't matter as much as you think. Stay with us on this, because plot twists are coming.
We'll talk about how these are with an Android at the end of this video, but first, iPhone users, don't go anywhere. Can you use these with an iPhone? Yes, you can. These buds support Bluetooth, which means they work with pretty much anything that supports Bluetooth. And I could use them with 3 different devices thanks to this magic feature called Pull Connect. No, it's not my gym workout schedule, nor a contraceptive. Once you pair them with any device, you just select them from your Bluetooth device list and boom, your connection gets transferred to that device. No need to put the buds in the case and press the button to go into pairing mode. Now, some of you may be thinking, it's so many steps to do that on an iPhone. You have to open Control Center, long press on Bluetooth, and then select the buds. But thank God for Reddit. Someone made a shortcut for it and it works. You just put the buds in your ears, tap the shortcut and let it do its magic, and voila, you're connected. And of course, you can trigger it from the action button if you're an iPhone 15 Pro or above. We'll link the Reddit page and shortcut in the description if you're interested. And on Samsung phones, every time you pop these open, you'll get a nifty connect pop-up, which you can tap to directly connect to these buds without going into Bluetooth menus. Now, we'll be honest, would it be better if you could connect to 2 devices at once? Yes, but maybe the other things compensate for it, starting with ANC.
Well, we're happy to say that Samsung copied not just the general stem shape, but also the noise-canceling quality from Apple. And these are pretty much tier S for blocking the bullshit you don't want to hear. Very similar to the AirPods Pro 2. Excellent noise cancellation across the board, especially low-end cancellation. Voices are let in a bit, but that's the same on the AirPods Pro 2. Impressive and some of the best noise cancelling in true wireless buds. Period. And what about letting in sound, called ambient mode or transparency? Well, the AirPods Pro 2 has to make room on the throne. These are up there with them. Hard to tell the difference. Basically, it's like not wearing anything at all. With the clothes stay on though, it's just nothing is blocking your ears. There is only a tiny bit of white noise though, which AirPods Pro don't have. But basically, some of the best transparency we've heard in this form factor. And speaking of form factor, these oval tips have got some similar levels of comfort. I must say that these didn't have a secure fit for me, but again, a bit worse than the AirPods Pro 2. But if I had to choose between comfort and a secure fit, comfort would win every day of the week. The buds being light also helps with that. The one slightly disappointing thing is that these buds come with only 3 tips in the box. There's no extra small for those extra tiny ear holes out there.
Now, the prism design of these buds gives it 3 planes, one of which you can stroke for volume control. It's very reliable, and even though adjusting it can sometimes give you false taps, these are a far cry from the older Samsung button style buds that were all touch surface, which meant adjusting them always triggered touch controls, and you had to resort to tricks like tapping your ear to change volume. A great party trick, but not something most regular folks would use. These do miss the little divot on the AirPods Pro stem that indicates where you can squeeze it, and I often find myself feeling the shaft for the right spot. And to be honest, in real life I got quite a few more fails than the AirPods, so finding the spot was not always easy for me, but when I squeezed it right, it succeeded and made the right sounds. What? Now, one of the things that is objectively better than the AirPods Pro for me on the Samsung is the sound. Overall, it is much more open and clear. Sometimes it veers off into too bright if you don't have the right ear tip though. So be cognizant of that, because if the seal comes loose, the bass drops and then there's nothing left to counter the higher frequencies, making them sound rather painful. The biggest loss you will have on an iPhone compared to a Samsung is that you won't be able to tweak these buds sound. Now on the iPhone, you are technically stuck on AAC, which is a lower codec, And on the Samsung, you get SSC, which is a better codec. And with the latest release of One UI, you also get a 96 kilohertz sampling rate. Now, in real life, you have better ears than us if you can really pick out meaningful differences between these two codecs. Hardware and a good tuning trumps codecs every time, and this is the case here as well. These buds sound fantastic on both these devices.
A feature exclusively reserved for Samsung phone owners is Samsung's implementation of spatial audio, also called 360 audio, with head tracking. While this version of Samsung's 360 audio is good, I always find myself turning these features off. I just want to listen to music with my two ears. Give me a good sound and I'll do the rest, thank you very much. Well, if you're a fuckman, you might want to use the Buds 3 Pro to make calls. So let's use an iPhone and check out my popsicles, icicles, and test.
Alright, a noisy test on the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 Pro with cars in the background and road construction in the background. Here we go. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Alright, a windy mic test on the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing.
So there's good news and bad news here. In wind, the Galaxy went really aggressive with its noise reduction, resulting in it butchering my voice into oblivion. Sure, it wasn't unpleasant with a lot of whooshing noise, but it also wasn't intelligible, so that's a bit of a fail. In noisy and quiet conditions though, it's good news. The voice comes through clearly with some processing clearly going on, but no complaints here. Strong performance in noisy environments. The fuckman may miss the AirPods Pro 2 a little bit, because it has answer hang up, volume control, changing ANC mode, and mute. The Galaxy Buds 3 Pro give you all of those except for mute. How often do you use mute?
And let's not forget the physical design and battery life. The case is pocketable with a nice to hit pairing button, USB-C and wireless charging on board. And that shape reminds me of some other product. I wonder which one. Now, one thing that Samsung changed is that it's super annoying to return the buds to the case. Now, when you take them out of your ear, you have to turn them in your hands before returning them to the case, unlike the AirPods. I mean, if you're copying stuff, why not go all the way or surpass the competition even? Samsung has done that in terms of IP rating. A killer IP57 rating on the earbuds, much higher for dust and water resistance than the IPX4 on the older AirPods Pro Gen 2 with Lightning, but not that much better than the IP54 rating on the newer AirPods Pro Gen 2 with USB-C. What's more is that Samsung's case has no IP rating that we can see, at least, as against IP54 on the newer AirPods Gen 2 case. Another thing that's missing is that there's also no speaker on the case to ring out when you're looking for your buds, but it does have this nice transparent lid to see if your buds are in the case. And you do get the choice of two colors, silver or white, which Apple's probably reserving as a feature for a new generation. Ooh, also battery life, we got a solid 8 hours plus with ANC off, so you should be good if you turn off all the extra features like voice control. Now, the voice control is a very cool feature. You can put the buds in your ears and you can raise or lower volume, start and stop music, and even answer or reject a call with just your voice. There might be social awkwardness of saying volume up in a public place, or the embarrassment of someone coming up next to you and issuing voice commands to your earbuds. Yes, that works as well. But these are features turned off by default and probably for good reason. It wouldn't surprise me if people complaining of poor battery life have all these features enabled. Oh yeah, and there are very cool looking LED lights on the buds, but you shouldn't bother with them unless you really like them because battery. What the LEDs do enable, in addition to looking like you're from a cyberpunk future, is the ability to use them to find your buds by blinking the lights. This is in addition to the buds ringing and making a sound. Smart. What's also smart is that these buds, as we've now come to expect, can pause your music and take them out of your ears. They can't take them out of your ears. These buds can obviously pause your music when you take the buds out of your ears.
That was iPhone. For Android, you get all the same goodness, but with an app you can tweak. And in case of Samsung phones, a couple of extra goodies, like the 360 audio, fake multipoint, and a couple of others. But do the phone calls sound different? Here are Rowan's popsicles, icicles, and tests.
That's feature in a Google Pixel 8 Pro. Popsicle, ice, icicle, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. That's the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 Pro in noisy conditions using a Google Pixel 8 Pro instead of a Samsung. The second text of the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, hardly any breeze right now on the Pixel 8 Pro. Let's go. Popsicle, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the breeze isn't much. It's a bit light. I'm going to cycle to my noisy conditions area and let's see how these microphones perform in noisy conditions, not using a Samsung phone and not using an iPhone either.
It's the same story as on iPhone, guys. Windy conditions are challenging with aggressive noise reduction. Noisy conditions are pretty decent. Also, when I used these in quiet conditions, there were no complaints. So we can say that the mics are overall acceptable and even good depending on how you speak and where you take your calls, whether that be iPhone or Android.
There's one more thing about these buds and the reason their launch got delayed very soon after release: the quality control issues. And those were mainly around tips. Now, here's a video of us trying to take the tips off these buds. It ain't easy. So the good news is that they won't come out and get lodged inside your ear. Hopefully, with the delayed release, Samsung fixes that issue so we won't know if it's resolved for a couple of months at least.
So overall, guys, when it comes to sound, ANC, transparency, portability, the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 Pro hit all the right notes. The lack of multipoint is a real bummer, we're not going to lie about that. Had Samsung included that feature that even sub $50 buds have, these would have been an instant no-brainer. But it is hard to find so many other good things about wireless earbuds in one package. So if you can work around multipoint using the tips that we gave at the top of this video, these are probably one of the best earbuds on the market. Yep, we said it.
A quick disclosure, guys, we did buy these buds with our own money. And that's partially thanks to you guys, our patrons and YouTube members. A big thanks as always, and an even bigger thanks. And an even bigger thanks to our Fuckman tier, which is the highest tier. And that shout out goes to Gamma Panda and Paula. Thank you guys very, very much. You've been hearing the Sam Lady sing, and we've been DHRME. Dewey.